Have you ever encountered someone who hides their true intentions behind a mask of kindness or charm? You know those individuals who seem nice on the surface but have ulterior motives? In today's video, we're diving into 7 things evil people do when they know that you know their true nature. Once toxic individuals realize you've seen through their facade, they often resort to manipulative and deceptive tactics to regain control over you. These behaviors can include guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and emotional manipulation, strategies designed to confuse, weaken, and influence your perception. Imagine this. You've just confronted someone who's been deceptive, and now they're trying to turn the tables on you, making you feel like you're the one in the wrong. They start playing the victim or pretending they didn't know their actions caused harm. This is a classic manipulation tactic that they use to regain control. Stoic philosophy offers powerful tools to help us stay calm, clear-headed, and resilient, no matter how toxic someone's behavior may be. It teaches us that our peace of mind is something no one can take from us unless we allow it. By recognizing these 7 signs, you'll be better equipped to protect yourself from their harmful influence and maintain your emotional well-being. So if you've ever dealt with toxic people or want to learn how to spot these behaviors early, this video is for you. Let's jump in and discover how to stay strong when facing manipulation and deceit. Stay tuned. Sign number 1. They rebuild their reputation. Have you ever looked at someone and sensed something deeply wrong, even before you had any evidence? You weren't imagining it. Human beings are capable of hiding extraordinary levels of malice behind a polished appearance. Often, it can take years to uncover the cruelty they've skillfully concealed. This isn't a reflection of your weakness. It's a testament to their mastery of deception. Evil individuals are adept at manipulation. They use others as tools to fulfill their desires, leaving confusion and devastation in their wake without a second thought. Imagine a neighbor who was once known for stirring conflicts and spreading lies in your community. After realizing that you and others have caught on, they suddenly transform, hosting charity events, attending religious services, and speaking kindly in public. To outsiders, they now appear generous and reformed. But you, having seen their true nature, understand that this new reputation is carefully crafted, not a genuine change of heart. There are plenty of such people around us. You might encounter them and simply label them as bad or toxic, but the truth runs deeper. They represent deceit and cruelty in their purest forms. Evil people don't rely on petty tricks alone. They are highly strategic in managing how others view them. When they realize you've seen through their facade, their first instinct isn't to confront the truth or show remorse. It's to control the damage. Their goal is to manipulate how you and others perceive them before the truth spreads. Understanding the importance of reputation and perception, they move quickly to rebuild a new, more favorable image. Imagine someone you know with a long record of harmful behavior. The moment they realize you have uncovered their true nature, they won't distance themselves or admit fault. Instead, they'll step closer, armed with a new story, one that paints them as victims of circumstance or misunderstood souls. They will blame hardships, miscommunications, or even unseen enemies, weaving a complicated web of excuses that makes the truth harder to untangle. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest philosophers, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Evil individuals understand this principle well. They know that if they can reshape your thoughts, they can reshape your reality. Changing their reputation is not an act of redemption, but a tactical move, a way to stay hidden and continue their manipulative game under a fresh disguise. A typical example can be seen in workplaces or social circles. Think of a colleague notorious for lies and betrayal. Upon sensing your awareness, they might suddenly act differently, sharing sob stories, professing newfound humility, and declaring personal change. But beneath this new mask, their core nature remains untouched. Their narrative is a deliberate trap designed to cloud your judgment and weaken your defenses. It's vital to recognize that evil people do not merely seek to redeem their reputation, they aim to control your reality. By making you question your instincts and rewriting their image, they sap your inner certainty. Doubt creeps in, slowly eroding the trust you had in your own perceptions. Over time, you may find yourself defending them, excusing their past actions, or feeling guilt for even suspecting them. Stoic philosophy reminds us that in such moments, clarity and calmness are essential. Emotions are fleeting and unreliable guides. The truth, once revealed, must be held firmly without compromise. When faced with someone desperately trying to rewrite their image, remember, real change is slow, consistent, and proven through actions, not just words. Moreover, evil people often give off subtle but powerful signals when their true nature is close to being exposed. You may experience a deep sense of unease, a gut feeling that something is terribly wrong, even if you can't logically explain it. Trust this intuition. It is the wisdom of your subconscious, piecing together truths your mind has not yet fully processed. Many people have ignored such warnings, only to later regret it when the damage became undeniable. Another important point to understand is that evil individuals fear exposure more than anything else. Their power lies in secrecy and illusion. Once seen for who they truly are, their influence begins to crumble. This fear often drives them into a frenzy of activity, sudden kindness, overwhelming generosity, or dramatic claims of personal transformation, all designed to confuse and overwhelm your senses. Recognizing this desperate behavior for what it is allows you to stay one step ahead, grounded in truth and protected by your own unwavering awareness. Sign number 2, they give you strange vibrations. Imagine working with a colleague who always seemed friendly, until one day, after you pointed out a small mistake they made, everything changed. Suddenly, you feel tense around them, as if an invisible wall has been built. They smile, but their energy feels cold and calculated. You can't explain it, but your instincts sense something wrong. That uncomfortable vibration you feel is your inner warning, signaling that their intentions are no longer genuine. Vibrations represent the emotions, senses, and energy we absorb from our surroundings. Everything in existence, including our bodies, is made up of energy. When we feel a certain emotion or sensation, it often results from unconsciously picking up frequencies through our interactions with different energy fields. This may sound abstract to some, but scientific research strongly supports the idea that energy and vibrations greatly influence how we experience and interpret the world. These vibrations become even more noticeable in our relationships, particularly when dealing with individuals who harbor malicious intent. Their negative energy tends to grow stronger and more uncomfortable once they realize you have seen through their facade. This is not merely about their actions, but also the subtle emotional energy they emit. Vibrations that create unease, invade boundaries, and disturb your sense of security. When such individuals recognize they've been exposed, they often react by changing their behavior dramatically. One of the first signs is the strange, unsettling feeling you begin to get around them. Their actions no longer seem genuine. Instead, they feel rehearsed and strategic. If they occupy a position of power, whether in a workplace or social setting, they may go out of their way to make your life more complicated, subtly asserting dominance. This discomfort you feel, these strange vibrations, are not just your imagination. They are clear warning signals that the person is attempting to reassert control by making you feel unstable. They may invade your privacy, ask probing or inappropriate questions, or start monitoring your activities excessively. Such behavior stems from their inability to respect personal boundaries, especially when they feel their authority or mask is slipping. In Stoic philosophy, such experiences are opportunities to practice emotional mastery. The Stoic thinker Epictetus once stated, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." When confronted with these unsettling feelings, it's crucial to maintain your composure. Recognize that their behavior stems from fear and insecurity, not strength. By remaining calm and grounded, you protect your mind from their manipulative influence. Another important point to remember is that strange vibrations are often your intuition trying to alert you. Too often, people dismiss their gut feelings in favor of logic or politeness, only to regret it later. Pay attention to these subtle emotional cues. They are your natural defense system against hidden threats. When your instincts tell you something is off, honor that feeling. Step back, reassess the situation, And don't let yourself be pressured into dismissing what you sense. Protecting your emotional and mental well-being is not just wise. It is necessary for a balanced life. Rather than reacting with anger or fear, view these moments as valuable tests of your inner resilience. Remember, you have the ultimate power to decide how much influence anyone has over your peace of mind. Everything external, including other people's negativity, is simply material for building a stronger, wiser self. Have you ever encountered someone whose energy immediately felt wrong? How did you respond to those instincts? Feel free to share your experiences. Learning from each other strengthens our ability to navigate such challenges with grace and strength. Sign number 3. They lie to cover up past lies. A lie is like a complex web, intricately woven by the liar, and once it's created, the weaver cannot escape its grasp. Every new lie adds another thread, gradually building a structure that entangles the one who tells it. Wicked individuals, when they realize that the truth has come to light, don't attempt to untangle the web of deceit they've spun. Instead, they continue weaving more lies, hoping they will conceal the truth further. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." When someone attempts to defend their lies, they fall into a never-ending cycle of deception, losing sight of the truth. In our daily lives, lies are often encountered, and sometimes we may even tell a lie ourselves. Research indicates that on average, a person lies once or twice a day. These lies can sometimes be harmless, such as telling a white lie to spare someone's feelings or to maintain a relationship. One study found that 59% of adults lie at least once a day, with some lying up to 5 times a day. Interestingly, men tend to lie more often than women. However, not all lies are equal. There are trivial lies like avoiding negative comments about someone's appearance, and then there are significant lies, such as hiding infidelity or concealing important secrets. What sets the wicked apart is the nature of their lies. Unlike harmless lies told to protect someone's feelings or to maintain peace in a relationship, the wicked lie to protect themselves and cover up their wrongdoings. When caught in a lie, instead of confronting the truth, they deny it and create new lies to justify the original deception. This spiraling cycle of dishonesty only leads to deeper entanglement, as each new lie becomes another futile attempt to protect something that can no longer be concealed. Their refusal to acknowledge the truth reveals a weakness and a fear of facing their mistakes. Rather than seeking redemption, they choose to persist in their deceit, betraying not only those who trust them, but also themselves. Deep down, they are aware that every new lie distances them further from the truth and sinks them deeper into a pit of deceit, making the betrayal harder to forgive. Wicked individuals are caught in an endless cycle of lies, with no way out except to face the truth, a reality they refuse to confront. Even when their lies are exposed, they continue fabricating stories, believing that new lies can somehow salvage the situation. It's painful to discover that a loved one has been hiding the truth from you, whether the lie is small or significant, because trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. For the wicked, betraying trust isn't accidental. It's a deliberate strategy to protect their own interests, regardless of the damage caused to others. Such behavior not only reveals moral corruption, but also a blatant disregard for the feelings of those they deceive. These individuals are so accustomed to manipulating reality for their benefit that they no longer hold truth in any regard. Truth becomes a mere tool for their personal gain rather than a value they uphold. As a result, they become untrustworthy, and once trust is destroyed, it's almost impossible to restore. The impact of these lies is far-reaching, extending beyond the relationships affected. A constant state of deceit can erode a person's sense of self-worth and integrity. While they may deceive others for a time, they cannot escape the internal turmoil that comes with living a life based on falsehoods. The emotional toll of maintaining such a facade is immense. The wicked may find themselves isolated, unable to form genuine connections, as those around them begin to see through their lies. Over time, the weight of their dishonesty may become unbearable, leading to feelings of guilt and regret. Feelings they may try to mask with more lies, but which will ultimately consume them. Imagine a person who has been lying for years to maintain a seemingly perfect relationship. At first, the lies are small, avoiding certain truths to prevent hurt feelings. But as time passes, the lies become more elaborate, and the person finds themselves trapped in a web of deception. Friends and family begin to notice inconsistencies in their stories, and trust begins to erode. Eventually, when the truth is finally uncovered, the person is left with nothing but a shattered reputation and broken relationships. Instead of facing the consequences of their actions, they continue to weave new lies, each one compounding the damage already done. This not only deepens their isolation, but also causes significant emotional and psychological distress. In the end, they are left to confront the reality that their lies have not protected them, but rather have left them more alone than ever. Next, let's explore another sign of the wicked. When they know you've uncovered their true nature. Sign number 3. They lie to cover up past lies. A lie is like a complex web, intricately woven by the liar, and once it's created, the weaver cannot escape its grasp. Every new lie adds another thread, gradually building a structure that entangles the one who tells it. Wicked individuals, when they realize that the truth has come to light, don't attempt to untangle the web of deceit they've spun. Instead, they continue weaving more lies, hoping they will conceal the truth further. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." When someone attempts to defend their lies, they fall into a never-ending cycle of deception, losing sight of the truth. In our daily lives, lies are often encountered, and sometimes we may even tell a lie ourselves. Research indicates that on average, a person lies once or twice a day. These lies can sometimes be harmless, such as telling a white lie to spare someone's feelings or to maintain a relationship. One study found that 59% of adults lie at least once a day, with some lying up to 5 times a day. Interestingly, men tend to lie more often than women. However, not all lies are equal. There are trivial lies like avoiding negative comments about someone's appearance, and then there are significant lies, such as hiding infidelity or concealing important secrets. What sets the wicked apart is the nature of their lies. Unlike harmless lies told to protect someone's feelings or to maintain peace in a relationship, the wicked lie to protect themselves and cover up their wrongdoings. When caught in a lie, instead of confronting the truth, they deny it and create new lies to justify the original deception. This spiraling cycle of dishonesty only leads to deeper entanglement, as each new lie becomes another futile attempt to protect something that can no longer be concealed. Their refusal to acknowledge the truth reveals a weakness and a fear of facing their mistakes. Rather than seeking redemption, they choose to persist in their deceit, betraying not only those who trust them, but also themselves. Deep down, they are aware that every new lie distances them further from the truth and sinks them deeper into a pit of deceit, making the betrayal harder to forgive. Wicked individuals are caught in an endless cycle of lies, with no way out except to face the truth, a reality they refuse to confront. Even when their lies are exposed, they continue fabricating stories, believing that new lies can somehow salvage the situation. It's painful to discover that a loved one has been hiding the truth from you, whether the lie is small or significant, because trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. For the wicked, betraying trust isn't accidental. It's a deliberate strategy to protect their own interests, regardless of the damage caused to others. Such behavior not only reveals moral corruption, but also a blatant disregard for the feelings of those they deceive. These individuals are so accustomed to manipulating reality for their benefit that they no longer hold truth in any regard. Truth becomes a mere tool for their personal gain rather than a value they uphold. As a result, they become untrustworthy, and once trust is destroyed, it's almost impossible to restore. The impact of these lies is far-reaching, extending beyond the relationships affected. A constant state of deceit can erode a person's sense of self-worth and integrity. While they may deceive others for a time, they cannot escape the internal turmoil that comes with living a life based on falsehoods. The emotional toll of maintaining such a facade is immense. The wicked may find themselves isolated, unable to form genuine connections, as those around them begin to see through their lies. Over time, the weight of their dishonesty may become unbearable, leading to feelings of guilt and regret. Feelings they may try to mask with more lies, but which will ultimately consume them. Imagine a person who has been lying for years to maintain a seemingly perfect relationship. At first, the lies are small, avoiding certain truths to prevent hurt feelings. But as time passes, the lies become more elaborate, and the person finds themselves trapped in a web of deception. Friends and family begin to notice inconsistencies in their stories, and trust begins to erode. Eventually, when the truth is finally uncovered, the person is left with nothing but a shattered reputation and broken relationships. Instead of facing the consequences of their actions, they continue to weave new lies, each one compounding the damage already done. This not only deepens their isolation, but also causes significant emotional and psychological distress. In the end, they are left to confront the reality that their lies have not protected them, but rather have left them more alone than ever. Sign number 4, they only show up when they need something. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. This timeless quote by Marcus Aurelius reminds us that actions speak louder than words, especially when dealing with toxic individuals. Over time, the truth about these people becomes clear. One of the most noticeable behaviors is that they only appear when they stand to benefit, disappearing once they've achieved their goal. Initially, they may appear as dependable companions, always available when you need them, offering care and concern. But as you start to see their true nature, everything changes. They only surface when there's something to gain and vanish once their interests are no longer served. Their actions resemble those of opportunists who invest little in relationships, but instead focus on what they can extract from others. Once the relationship holds no further benefit for them, they disappear, showing no empathy for your feelings or needs. For instance, consider a colleague who seems friendly and helpful at work, always volunteering to take on projects with you. But once you've completed a major task together and you need their help with another project, they suddenly become unavailable. It's only when they realize there's a reward or promotion tied to a new project that they reappear, eager to assist. This behavior shows that their involvement was never about mutual support, but about what they could gain. For these individuals, returning after you've overcome a difficult period is a common tactic. Once you've resolved your issues, they reappear with apologies, excuses, and the hope that you'll forgive them and resume the relationship as though nothing had happened. If you deny them, they disappear once again, only to re-emerge when they need something from you. These people rarely change. Their concern is not for you as an individual, but only for what they can gain from the connection. Ultimately, choosing to surround yourself with people who genuinely care for you will create a positive environment where trust and mutual support thrive. Real connections are not based on what someone can take from you, but on the genuine sharing of respect, kindness, and understanding. Stay true to your values and don't allow opportunistic individuals to drain your energy. When you let go of relationships that are only based on what others can gain, you open up space for more meaningful connections that contribute to your well-being and growth. This shift allows you to invest time and energy in relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and authenticity rather than manipulation or selfish interests. By recognizing and distancing yourself from those who only appear when they need something, you create room for healthier, more fulfilling interactions that uplift both parties. Your emotional and mental well-being will benefit from these genuine connections, allowing you to thrive in environments where trust and care are mutual. Sign number 5, they try to make you feel stupid. One of the most effective tactics used by narcissists and malicious individuals is to make others feel small and inferior. For instance, when you confide in someone about a problem, you might expect support and understanding. Instead, you hear comments like, "You should have seen that coming," or "How could you not know better?" These remarks, though seemingly innocent, often make you feel embarrassed and inadequate. You begin to question your judgment and doubt your abilities. The result is that you are left feeling belittled, isolated, and vulnerable. This is exactly what such individuals want, to make you feel inferior, so they can have more control over you. Stoics believe that all actions stem from reason and virtue. Thus, those who intentionally hurt others through mockery and mental abuse not only demonstrate a lack of virtue, but also violate the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature. They create situations where you're constantly questioning yourself, wondering if you truly understand life, relationships, or even yourself. These words and actions are not just casual insults. They are part of a meticulous, deliberate strategy. The most frightening aspect is when you start doubting yourself. You become more vulnerable, and this is exactly the trap that malicious individuals want you to fall into. When you feel weak, you're more likely to seek validation from the very person who hurt you. For them, it's a way to re-establish control. They do this not because they value the relationship, but because they want you to remain within their sphere of influence, where they can continue manipulating you from where they left off. How would Stoic philosophy, which focuses on controlling one's own reactions, view this situation? When faced with insulting words or attempts to make you feel foolish, a Stoic would not allow themselves to be drawn into the mental game. Instead, they would remind themselves that their true value doesn't come from others' opinions, but from inner understanding and self-respect. A Stoic might ask, why should I allow myself to be diminished by the meaningless words of someone who lacks kindness? Rather than reacting with anger or hurt, they would step back and assess the situation from a rational distance, like a neutral observer. It is this calmness and unshakable demeanor that becomes the most powerful weapon against toxic individuals. They may try to make you feel foolish, but they only succeed if you accept and believe it. Stoicism advises us to focus on what we can control, and what we can always control is our response to others' behavior. Malicious individuals want you to react emotionally, to lose your composure, but a strong Stoic spirit will not allow that to happen. Moreover, their attempt to make you feel foolish is not just a form of punishment, it is a way to distance you from your confidence and inner strength. When you believe you're inadequate, you're more likely to become dependent on them, seeking their approval. But the truth is, this dependence only robs you of autonomy and real happiness. In conclusion, one of the most subtle tactics that malicious individuals use once they know you have recognized their nature is making you feel stupid. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that our worth is not dependent on what others think or say, but on how we face the world. Remember, you cannot control others' actions, but you can fully control how you react and think. That is the key to maintaining your inner strength, even when faced with those who try to bring you down. Furthermore, it's essential to recognize that this tactic is often used to undermine your self-confidence and prevent you from realizing your own worth. If you let someone make you feel inferior, they are robbing you of your ability to see your own potential. Instead of internalizing their negative words, remind yourself of your strengths and values. By maintaining your self-respect and not allowing others to define you, you regain control over your life. When you no longer let their words affect you, you are free to move forward and build a more empowered and resilient self. Ask yourself, when was the last time someone tried to belittle you? How did you react in that moment? Did you let their words take root in your mind and diminish your confidence? Or did you step back and remind yourself of your own worth? Recognizing that others' opinions do not define your value is a powerful first step in reclaiming your peace. Remember, it's not the insults of others that matter, but how you choose to respond. By staying grounded in your self-respect, you can protect your inner strength and remain unaffected by the toxic behavior of others. Sign number 6, they act like they don't know what they are. Have you ever encountered someone who seems to intentionally hide their true nature, making it difficult to truly understand who they are? This question is crucial, as not everyone we meet is clear about their intentions or character. When a person with bad intentions is exposed, they often resort to a deceptive strategy, pretending they have no awareness of the harm their actions have caused. They may play the victim or act naive, feigning surprise at the consequences, as if they were entirely oblivious to the pain they've inflicted on others. According to Stoic philosophy, a person's true nature is revealed not just through their actions, but also by how they respond when confronted with challenging situations. Epictetus, a well-known Stoic philosopher, once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." This suggests that bad individuals manipulate others by exploiting their perceptions and emotions, often turning their wrongdoings into a psychological game of deceit. When confronted with their behavior, they might act as though they had no idea their actions were harmful, using this false innocence as a means of shifting the blame and manipulating the situation. For example, they might sarcastically ask, "Why didn't you say earlier that you were hurt?" This is their way of shifting the blame onto you, even though it's clear they were the ones at fault. When confronted with such behavior, you may feel confused and angry. These bad individuals not only deny responsibility, but also try to erase the truth that you courageously confronted. Even if you've expressed your feelings directly multiple times, they will continue to ask, "Why didn't you tell me?" This constant repetition serves not just to avoid responsibility, but also to diminish your worth and emotions, making you feel like you're overreacting or that the blame is not entirely on them. This is how bad people try to control your emotions and thoughts. They want you to feel wrong or, at the very least, unsure about whether you have the right to judge them. This is an extremely toxic and sophisticated form of manipulation, where the truth is distorted in a way that makes you feel guilty for being hurt. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of maintaining a strong spirit in such situations. The actions and words of bad people are things we cannot control, but we can control how we respond. When faced with situations where others deliberately hide or deny their mistakes, it is essential to stay calm and not let them affect your sense of self-worth. When bad people realize that you've seen through them, they will often do everything they can to avoid the truth. They are unwilling to take responsibility because doing so means facing the consequences of their harmful actions. Instead of honestly admitting their mistakes, they will play the role of the innocent, trying to justify that they didn't know their behavior caused harm. And when you confront them, they will try to twist and distort the truth to make you feel confused and unsure about your own experience. Such behavior is not only deceitful, but also a sign of deep disrespect for you, a denial of the truth and a devaluation of your emotions. These bad people know that once you start doubting yourself, they can continue acting without worrying about the consequences. In facing this situation, the lesson from Stoic philosophy is invaluable. You don't need to change yourself or try to please such people. What's important is that you hold firm to your values and your belief in what is right. Don't let them make you doubt the truth. Self-control and steadfastness in spirit are what will help you overcome the challenges they pose. One important aspect of Stoic philosophy is the practice of indifference to external opinions and actions, especially when dealing with manipulative individuals. Stoics believe that we should not let external circumstances, such as the behavior of others, disturb our inner peace. When faced with someone who deliberately denies their harmful actions, it's essential to remind yourself that their behavior is a reflection of their character, not yours. The more you allow their deceit to affect you, the more power you give them over your emotional state. By practicing indifference, you can maintain your clarity and emotional stability, refusing to let their attempts to distort reality shape your perception of yourself or the situation. This not only protects your mental well-being, but also reinforces your resilience, ensuring that you remain unshaken in the face of their manipulation. Sign number 7, they try to manipulate you. Imagine you are holding a small, delicate glass jar, one that represents your personal boundaries and self-control. The manipulator, standing nearby, is offering you a beautiful flower in the form of what seems like kindness, attention, or concern. However, as you reach for the flower, the manipulator gently nudges your hand, causing the jar to tremble. They insist, "It's just a small gesture. Don't overthink it." You start to question your own instincts. Maybe it's not so bad after all. But as you give in to the small compromise, the jar cracks ever so slightly, weakening your defenses. With each small request, the manipulator gets closer to taking full control of the jar. The jar that once held your values, boundaries, and self-worth now starts to slip from your hands, and you feel unsure about your own ability to protect it. Each manipulation, disguised as help or concern, is another nudge that chips away at your sense of independence. But if you remain aware, hold firm to your boundaries, and refuse to let the manipulator shape your reality, you can stop the jar from shattering altogether. When someone manipulates you, they are trying to control your actions and strip away your ability to think for yourself. This tactic doesn't just affect your relationship with them, but can also damage your other relationships and your mental well-being. Manipulation is often subtle, hidden behind what seems like care and concern. Manipulators use emotional tactics to put you in a vulnerable position, making it easier to control not just your thoughts, but your decisions and actions. They possess a high level of emotional intelligence, allowing them to understand others' emotions deeply. However, instead of using this gift to foster healthy relationships, they twist it into a weapon for exploiting your vulnerabilities, such as your anxieties, insecurities, or personal goals. By identifying these weaknesses, they gradually convince you to give up what's important to you, making you more reliant on them. Manipulation is often difficult to spot as it can take many forms. It may appear as kindness or helpfulness, where someone always listens, seems to understand you, and appears deeply concerned about your emotions. However, if their intentions are not to help you but to gain something for themselves, this behavior becomes a sophisticated form of manipulation. They make you feel indebted to them, leading you to believe they are the only ones who truly care for you, thus drawing you into their control without you even realizing it. When dealing with a manipulative person, it is crucial to set firm boundaries and stick to them. Boundaries not only protect you from manipulative behavior, but also help you maintain your sense of self and personal autonomy. Being self-aware, knowing your limits, and refusing to allow others to cross those lines is essential. A manipulator, being emotionally savvy, may try to push your boundaries, convincing you that giving up something small isn't a big deal or that you need them for happiness or safety. Yet, according to Stoic philosophy, true happiness comes from within. It arises from the control you have over your own mind, not from external sources. When you allow someone to manipulate you, you are relinquishing your freedom and handing them power over your life, which goes against the Stoic principle of living independently and with personal freedom. A common manipulation tactic is making you feel dependent on the manipulator. They might tell you that you can't handle challenges on your own, that only they can truly help you. But in reality, once you fall into this trap, you'll gradually lose the ability to make decisions on your own, erode your self-confidence, and become dependent on them. Manipulators will exploit you until you lose your sense of autonomy and become part of their control game. Escaping from this cycle is difficult but not impossible. It's important to remember that manipulators will not give up easily. They will use every trick in the book to make you doubt your own judgment and abilities. The key is to keep affirming your worth and stick to the boundaries you've set. You may not be able to control how others behave, but you can always control your response. This is your true strength, an inner power no one can take away from you unless you allow them to. The final piece of advice is to trust your instincts. Manipulators are often skilled at bending your perception of reality, making you second-guess yourself. The most important thing you can do is listen to your inner voice. If something feels off or you sense manipulation, trust that feeling. Standing firm in your beliefs and values will help you keep your emotional and mental autonomy intact. It's not always easy to spot manipulation, but with awareness and self-confidence, you can navigate these challenges and maintain control over your own life. We've now examined the 7 common behaviors of toxic individuals. Once you recognize these signs, you'll have a clearer understanding of their hidden motives and can better protect yourself from their negative influence. Stoic philosophy reminds us that maintaining calm and self-control in all situations is the key to overcoming any challenge. When we learn to safeguard our minds and patience, no one can harm us. Keep in mind that toxic individuals will always attempt to control and manipulate you, but true strength lies in preserving your inner peace despite their efforts. Before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you, how would you rate the content of this video? 1. Strongly disagree. 2. Disagree. 3. Neutral. 4. Agree. 5. Strongly agree. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on future content. Also, be sure to check out our latest videos, which you can find at the end of the screen.